Good morning, America.
Good morning, America. Good evening, good night. Woo! Woo!
God,
America's here to save the world.
Oh, America, America,
Oh, America.
America.
Come
What
on.
are you doing?
What the hell is going on?
What do you call this shit? Oh, there he is. Make America great again.
Oh, my God. Anyway, welcome.
Why are you shouting?
I don't know.
Welcome, guys. We had an argument about our glasses. We're British. Any Americans here? We're sorry.
We're fascinated.
We're fascinated. And before anyone, I get a lot of messages after these lives saying, sort your own shit out. Well, do you know what? We're trying to.
Do you know what? You're right.
It's shit here.
We are not happy with our governments, and we are not happy with our Prime Minister. Not one teeny weeny bit. And when I look across the world, there ain't many leaders that I think at the moment are actually thinking of anybody else except their bloody selves.
What about Zelensky?
Even Zelensky.
What do you think of Zelensky?
I've
I've never really understood what you think. I know what you think of the Kardashians, but not Zelensky.
Well, that makes me sound like a total nincompoop.
It does, and that was the point.
Do you? Right. In a minute, I'll leave and you can get on
Put
with this.
your
No,
glasses
I'm
on.
not wearing them. They're hideous.
Okay, what do you think of Zelensky?
Do you know what? I don't know a lot about him. I think that, I mean, I have swung one way and the other with Zelensky, but for sure, one thing I do know is he didn't start the war. That's 100%.
Would you describe him as a dictator?
And I also no, and I would not describe him as a dictator, but then who knows? You never know. You never know what the people of Ukraine might be feeling and thinking about him. But I certainly think that it was tragic that he didn't get an invite to the discussions of possibly the future of that region. Well, I think it's not very fair.
Well, yeah. Well, we're going to talk about America, America's relationship with Ukraine, America's meeting with Putin, Donald Trump and Zelensky's increasing fight and venom. Although, to be honest with you, Zelensky's trying to kind of be quite moderate in his kind of criticism, but Trump's losing his shit big time. And so we're going to talk about that because as we sit here right now, the entire planet, I was listening to a podcast today that said we are at an epochal, is it an epoch? Epochal moment.
What does that mean?
An epoch, a moment in a moment of history, a hugely defining turning point in history.
Well, of course we are.
But don't we always feel we're at a turning point in history?
It's never been like this.
What makes you say that?
Never. It's never been as crazy. It's never been. I mean, okay, if you just take the Zelensky, Putin, Trump, just that moment, and there's been 100 other moments in the 3 weeks running up to that.
We've had a month of Trump
It's
now.
literally insane. You cannot just stand on the world stage and point a finger at Zelensky, say we want all your money and we want all your gas and we want all anything. You're the one who started the war. You're the dictator. Why didn't you just stop this earlier? It was insane. What Trump said, for me, was insane.
Well, he was saying a couple of things that are kind of
and never mind
ridiculous.
Vance coming a few days before and saying that the real problem is Europe and the real worry is right here. Well,
one of Trump's major things was Zelensky hasn't had an election. It often happens in war that elections don't happen, so martial law kicks in. It happened in America.
And is
it happens
Trump
in the
planning
UK.
a little nod election for the next time there's an election?
Well, we don't know that for sure. We don't know that for sure. Who's he going to be fighting? The man who doesn't want to start a war with anyone.
I didn't say for sure, but I am saying there are a lot of whispers around that.
I mean, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate just for a minute. I'm going to just stand in the MAGA camp because it was interesting today listening to your love interest, Scaramucci. I was listening today. And what's interesting about all of this is a lot of what Trump and a lot of what MAGA are saying about Ukraine, are there no valid questions to be asked about the amount of money that's been sent over there?
The amount of money has come back round to America where they've then sold the arms. The amount of money that he is talking about is not the actual
because he is talking about reparations for Ukraine.
Yeah.
So the amount of money that went over there, the fact that Zelensky was really, albeit he was voted, he was a puppet option, wasn't he, for the West. You know, the West have interfered in Ukraine repeatedly. America, as CIA, has repeatedly interfered in Ukraine, like it has all over the world. So
there's no clean
anywhere. No, exactly.
There's no clean hands anywhere. And who knows the God's truth? We have become so awake, so much more awake. I don't believe anything about anyone, but all I do know is that what Trump has done in Saudi Arabia, how weird is that? In Saudi Arabia, is mixed things up in a really dangerous way. Thrown the cards up into the air, and God knows how they're going to land.
One of the weirdest things that he said is that Zelensky said, we weren't invited to the table, we're upset about it. Donald Trump said,
you could have... angry about that.
And we're going to play the clip. He said...
Well, let's play the clip.
No, he said you were invited to the table. But the weird thing about this is he wasn't invited to the table. We're in a really odd situation.
Well, because Trump just says whatever he wants to
I know. But it's like literally he was not invited to the table.
Scaramucci says that. He's ex-aide. He said it is totally extraordinary to watch him lie. He will just literally... And he laughs about it afterwards and says, God, look, it's just amazing. I've just told that blatant lie.
Well, it's interesting because the piece we're going to play you now is the piece in which he says you started it, essentially, to Zelensky. And if you listen to the way he says it, this is his roaming mind. I don't think this is necessarily, again, a fully formed thought. I think everyone has seized upon it. But I don't actually think even in his head, he's saying it in a literal sense.
Now, this is nothing to your fault at all because everything went a bit weird today. But did you get my clip of Kamala telling him in the debate about the way he was going to behave with Putin?
I did, but I couldn't bear to. I couldn't bear to listen.
It's so good.
I couldn't bear to. Listen
Can I just play it? I've got it on my phone.
Yeah, but because
it'd be interesting just before this because it informs this.
Well, let's see what he's done, and then let's see that as in terms of the advice. Let's hear what he said. It's what we've been talking about up until now. So let's see this first.
Ukrainians who, after 3 years of fighting, might feel betrayed or disappointed at not having a seat at these initial talks in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I think I'm really disappointed in what's happened. I've been watching this for 3 years. It's a war that would have never happened if I was president, and I've been watching these people being killed at levels that you've rarely seen, not even close, since the Second World War. And I'm very disappointed. I hear that, they're upset about not having a seat. Well, they've had a seat for 3 years and a long time before that. This could have been settled very easily. Just a half-baked negotiator could have settled this years ago without the loss of much land, very little land, without the loss of any lives. And I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down. But they chose...
What does he mean, one dome? Every time I hear
I didn't know what he meant.
What's he talking about? Is he talking about the minarets of the churches?
I literally didn't know.
But do you not notice how when he says you started it, he quite quickly tries to run away from that? I think he realizes he's made a stumble.
Word diarrhea. But as much as we couldn't bear Kamala, listen to this.
What's going on? Oh, she's just got the
chocolates. We've got a dog who's obsessed with chocolate.
Jesus Christ.
It's all right. She's not a dog that dies from chocolate. Because a lot of dogs do die from chocolate. She'll get it again if you put it on the edge. So listen to this.
Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Oh, there's a long one where she goes on to say, you think he's your friend. And this is what so many people say about Trump. He's so easily charmed. And he has such huge admiration for dictators. And he's literally, in my opinion, he's sitting there going, oh, well, Russia's going after all that extra land. And Israel's getting all that extra land. And what about me? I want some extra land. It's like watching little boys in the playground.
I think he...
And in between all of that are all these human beings that are just being put at huge risk, all of us.
I think he genuinely sees a lot of things to admire in Putin. He sees conservative, you know, he's very conservative. He's very all this anti-wokery stuff. You know, he's finding things that he relates to. But the weird thing is, which I really liked about something I was listening to today, they said, the fact Zelensky has all the qualities you think Trump would like.
But he's always been obsessed with Putin. He loves Putin. He loves, I mean, look at this. We've got an American president sucking up to Putin. I mean, can we just take a pause? I mean, how are Americans, how are the Republicans processing this?
Well, the Republicans are very quiet. The Republicans are very quiet.
Me, all the bloody politicians are very bloody quiet. I mean, you can hear a pin drop.
The Republicans are quiet. The Democrats are non-existent.
Well, the Democrats have admitted they're shitting themselves. They're too scared at the moment. They're going to see what happens. What the hell?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, maybe this is just going to go so effing badly. Sorry. Maybe what's going to happen is it's just going to go also effing badly, a bit like us here in this country.
Does anyone
the whole everything will have to be shaken up and changed?
I tell you what I feel is going on at the moment. I mean, things seem to be sort of moving along at such a sort of pace. With every day, there's a new gyration that turns you towards a new destination where you think, "Fucking hell, I never saw us getting to this bit or never getting here." And just when you think there's literally you've hit the maximum number of lunacies that could actually be enacted, a new one happens. My thinking on that is, does anyone else feel that even just after a month, it's almost like the balloon is going to burst at some point? Someone somewhere at some point,
I think we've got to
is going to throw a huge spanner in. No, because at the moment he's run roughshod over every single country in the world.
Yeah,
every group of people. Yeah. Do you not think Iran or do you think Russia has got something up their sleeve?
Sorry, I thought you meant within America
or
Europe.
I'm talking in the world.
No, everyone's just going. The really big bully is coming to the playground.
Laura Doyle says it will have to. There has to come a point.
Well, but I think it will be tragic.
It's a little bit like the stock market. You know, it keeps going up, and they always say, "Don't chase it on the way up." There has to come a point where it peaks out and it falls. It can't just keep going.
But I don't believe that politicians in America are going to work this out.
No, I don't. I'm not talking about America.
No. But at the first port of call, one hopes that one's own country says enough is enough, that the courts actually are able to do something. But he stated quite clearly, he's going to ignore whatever the courts say.
I think America, I hate to say it to any Americans in the room, I genuinely think America is a lost cause. I think America is rapidly becoming, and this is tragic for many Americans who don't feel like this, is going to become a kind of rogue state and not just a laughing stock, but a genuinely quite chilling and petrifying adversary. I mean, I think the whole NATO, Europe, what we've seen in the last week or so is, especially with the Ukraine thing, what the Ukraine thing has done is it sent a huge message out to the European Union and to the UK that we can no longer keep riding on the coattails of American support. But what's really interesting about the backstory, I was listening to something else today, which was saying that the backstory to the reason Europe was so dependent on America was actually a consequence of America saying to most parts of Europe, don't arm up. We'll look after you.
Well, why is that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So on the one hand, America's created this dependency and now it doesn't want it. It really is a wake-up call and a shocking moment for Europe. I can't now still work out whether it's better or worse that Brexit has happened. I can't work out whether Starmer's in a stronger position. I mean, let's just for a beat, because I haven't got much to say that's positive about Starmer, but my heart goes out to him and his team.
It's impossible.
Now. They're in an impossible situation
because it's the biggest bully in the playground. Great,
it's shifting every second.
He said he's got all these bully boys behind him, and you know you're going to get pulverized, or you're in the showers in the prison, right? And the guys are coming in with their whole group, and you've got no choice. That's how I see it. So I do feel even sorry for Keir Starmer, who I can't stand Keir Starmer, but because he is between a rock and a hard place.
Well, you can feel them sort of like they go to say something. So, for example, on the Ukrainian thing, he's turned around and he said to Zelensky, "You're not." It's like a parent. You're not a dictator. You didn't start this, and you know it's not your fault. Trump's doing, and then he turns to Trump and he goes, "You're doing so much that's good for getting people to tables, but no, that can't go on forever." And this is my point. I think somewhere at some point, I feel like there's a gasket somewhere It could be in RFK Jr.'s throat or head that's going to blow. Something's going to blow. Something big is going. I mean, I tell you what my concern for it really is that around the back. Can I tell you what I actually think is behind the Russian-America deal? I think America in these conversations is saying to Russia, extrapolate yourself from your relationship with Iran, because everything I'm hearing from the Middle East is that Israel is preparing to hit Iran's nuclear.
That's what Israel wants.
No, I know. But one of the big parts of the chessboard that America and Israel need to get out of the way is Russia being an ally of Iran, which has been increasing over the last sort of 6 months. So I think the Middle East feeds into the Ukraine situation massively. So that's kind of Ukraine. Let's continue. How have you felt about Musk this week? Have you had many moments with him?
Well, I mean,
in the news?
again, it's just another one. Is left breathless. I said to you, didn't I? That there are no words left. I mean, this was the week before, wasn't it, with the sun and everything, which is just totally.
I've just pulled some photos here.
But it's the little Lord Trumpton and his wife is sat having that interview.
I've got it.
Which was so cringe making. I follow somebody, if there's any Americans here, the Bulwark. They're Republicans.
Yeah,
they're sort
good.
of modern Republicans. Very smart.
Oh, are they Republicans? I didn't realize.
Yeah, they're Republicans.
Oh, right. Oh, no wonder. I thought most times they started talking, I thought, I don't agree with you.
Yeah, but they're Republicans, but they're just so cool, aren't they? And they're just open to all discussions. And they're absolutely
nice.
Horrified, heartbroken. It's the end of the Republican Party.
I watched the one today, and there's the younger guy.
Yeah, I like him. The really miserable one.
Yeah, miserable one. But every time he comes on, there's just more disbelief and shock and just aghast.
To any of our Brits friends here, the Bulwark.
BULWARK.
Yeah, it's a really good YouTube channel.
Right. What I'm going to play you. The Independent have done a kind of best bits of his. Basically, a love-in interview between Trump and Musk.
I don't even know if I can watch it.
No, it's really. You can't look. I find these things so eminently watchable.
I do this. I have to block off one ear and both my eyes because it's just
like watching
so
a
cringe.
horror film.
So
there are some moments here that are truly excruciating, and I can't believe it. But anyway, just what? And I don't know what's more repulsive: Donald Trump being amoral and outwardly horrific, or him being almost a little bit compliant and gaga goo goo, which is what you're about to see. Check this out.
God. Him pay you $10 million?
That's right. Well, I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, and I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
That's all you do, isn't it, Gary?
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is it makes sense.
I think it's fun.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount when the lawsuit.
He got a big discount.
I love
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's,
It's nice the way he said that. There's something nice about it.
Really is. Because I mean, the president's been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous. And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong. Not once.
I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
The New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just threw everything, lawfare, weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start. They want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other, and they try. Oh, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things of hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. It's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink
at some point.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is in over.
They always ask me, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries. This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing 2 brothers here.
You go ahead.
They were they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good.
I don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success. So as long as we're not complacent, we're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes, well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's that?
He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
I used to be adored by the left, you know.
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
He killed that, huh?
I mean, less so.
I really did it.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like, you know, they call it like Trump derangement syndrome. Yeah. And I don't, you know, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies.
I have to say, that was quite a funny gag. It was like they've been, hang on, hit by a president is sitting next to a guy who said it was like they were hitting the neck with a dart full of methamphetamine and rabies.
I love it because what else in the interview as well, he actually is, he can't understand why the Democrats don't like him anymore. Lord Musk.
I know.
He's deranged.
Everything about that's so strange because it felt like they were in couples counselling.
But where was the vice president? I mean, this isn't an elected person. Why is he sitting having an hour-long interview? And that journalist, I mean,
yeah, but Hannity, is it Hannity? Is that his name? I mean,
who is he?
He's best mates with Trump, isn't he? I mean, the point.
Licking his feet.
But there were moments there where the thing I find most interesting. I'm not surprised by Musk. I'm not surprised by Trump. I find them. Yeah, we're shocked every day that they go to the next level. And the fact that Musk can sit there and quite clearly say he's done nothing wrong, he's done nothing, you know, in a minute.
I don't know why the Democrats don't like him.
Yeah, exactly. He's perplexed, absolutely perplexed. There's a sort of, but the weirdest part of it all for me is Donald Trump's compliance. And I know that people keep saying it's the money.
Well, we're not going to know what that is.
No. But the weird thing is that he's unable to maintain that with anyone else.
Well, maybe it is love. Must be love.
Or has some kind of AI been used?
Well,
anyway.
people are saying he's very scared of Elon, but we're not too sure why.
Okay. All right. Well, in other news this week, RFK Jr. as well. I've got have I got that clip? Yes, I have. A very funny clip. RFK Jr. is throwing the cat amongst the pigeons as he says nothing is off limits in scrutinizing chronic disease. He's going to examine childhood vaccines, psychiatric drugs, and other formerly taboo topics. Now, when I read this, I'm all for a debate about, you know, overprescribing and everything. But let's just park to the side a sort of really liberal, rational, which is kind of unusual, sort of, you know, reasonable desire to have a conversation. When he says, if everyone comes off all these, the fucking country's going to go insane. I mean, if everyone is, I mean, imagine if they put out an executive order that says no more citalopram.
No, I mean, like, if it is a decent discussion about overprescribing, I think that's really important. Because you know what? I heard figures over there. Since 2011 till today in this country, do you know we are the second after America in prescribing antidepressants? And the figures we have doubled. No. It's an extraordinary amount. And we know very well people are fobbed off very quickly by some doctors with antidepressants when there might be a whole lot of other things that might work better for them. So I don't think that's as harebrained as people would like to say.
But you see, the danger is that
just take them away.
One should never make a judgment based on how someone looks or how, with RFK Jr., how someone sounds. But I'm going to play in this clip of I think they're a comedian that Piers Morgan was interviewing. It's a very funny sequence. We're going to be talking about tomorrow on Coffee Moaning, the 17,000 cases that have been brought against the vaccine pharmaceutical companies in this country for illnesses that have happened. The news and the consequences of COVID vaccines is going up. And there's a massive news story landed today.
The state of Florida is taking Pfizer to court. But it's the state of Florida.
But in the UK, 17,000 people have been adversely affected by vaccines, and only 139 of them have received any kind of compensation. Yeah. So this is a tricky one because I think there is a debate to be had around vaccines. People get very hot under the collar and petrified. It's almost like a fundamentalism.
Asking questions is not really being anti-science or anti-vax. But we both had the vaccine. But I still have got questions, lots of questions about it.
But anyway, let's listen to this. This is, as I say, someone quite funny about RFK Jr.
Good place of wanting to make America a healthier place. What's wrong with that?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think he is the picture of health himself. I mean, he's a roided up 70-year-old who doesn't believe in germ theory and eats roadkill. I think that is perfect. He sounds like he's speaking into a fan half the time, and he doesn't believe in vaccines. He wants to replace healthcare in this country with Ozempic, and he also wants to limit access to antidepressants and psychiatric meds for all Americans and replace it with things like meditation. If we think we have a mental health care crisis in this country now, just you wait until RFK Jr. is finished with this country. If you think there is some sort of drug epidemic, people are going to be buying Adderall on the black market in insane amount. He also thinks that Jewish people and Chinese people can't get COVID. That was a fun one. You should tell that to my uncle. Oh, wait, he's dead. Also, 83 Samoans also dead from the anti-vax work that he did in American Samoa. Just as there's a measles outbreak in Texas right now because of the kind of lies about vaccines that he has spilled. But honestly, Piers, other than that, truly a picture of health.
You see, again, I think it's good to have a discussion. I actually think of all the aspects of the Trumpian kind of presidency, I think any questions against Big Pharma are interesting. But I'm almost surprised that it's against Big Pharma.
Big Pharma has got America stitched up. I mean, they're not even allowed to negotiate on price. You know, it's all set. It's a terrible state of affairs.
Yeah.
So if it's going to open a wider conversation, but let's hope he's just not going to, I mean, he has said that he's not going to stop people having what they need.
No, quite.
But he wants to have a discussion.
I mean, I personally think, and I'd have thought you would say that more meditation is a good thing.
Well, yeah, but not for somebody with a severe psychic. I'm talking about somebody that may be,
she's a comedian,
that may be suffering with, a mild anxiety or low mood, or, should we always just write a prescription for people?
No, I agree.
No.
Okay, and in other little tidbits from the week before we sign off, let's not forget Donald Trump invoked and quoted Napoleon. Yeah. He who saves his country does not violate any law. Sounds frighteningly like a way to say that I can do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm an emperor.
Yeah, because every single decision I'm making is for the good of my country, not for any of my billionaire friends. Never. That doesn't influence me at all. It's simply for my people.
Yeah, and then because of his trying to kill the congestion pricing in New York, he also posted about himself as if he's the king. Long live the king. Trump likens himself to royalty on Truth Social, and here's a mock-up of their idea of the front of the Times. Congestion. This is from the White House's official Twitter account. Congestion pricing is dead. Long live the king.
Are you
President
serious?
Donald J. Trump. The White House press office officially
So
posted this.
have they commissioned that? And then they've done...
Time magazine hasn't done that. They've done that themselves.
That's what I mean. The White House
created it, yes.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the official White House Twitter account is posting crap like that. But also this week, got a new roll around Daytona. And in one of the more chilling clips I do want to show you, which is proof that Donald Trump has done something amoral and wrong and awful this week. Again, like that White House image here, mocked up and then posted and publicized by the White House's official Twitter account.
That's going to become a t-shirt, isn't it? He's going to make some millions out of that. Yeah,
exactly. Anyone who's into ASMR, I've got the most awful story here.
This is truly awful.
This is a clip, and this is a piece of ASMR that was being distributed and shared, and I think even Elon Musk commented on it, saying, "Ha ha ha." Well, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it stands for.
I don't know what the words stand for, but basically, it's a massive craze, isn't it? It's just really magnified sound. Yeah. So like our kids, it's all like crunchy, like crunchy salt, crunchy chocolate, or whatever. It's just that sense, the heightened sense of sound. Yeah. But this is so twisted.
Yeah. So it's awful, Marco. So you're going to show us amazing thanks? Yeah. No, it's awful. As in, there's nothing awful that's traumatic to actually witness. But when you understand why it's being listened to as ASMR, it's chilling because it's the sound of. Well, look. Named immigrant. Dead.
Ha ha ha! Wow, horrible man.
For those of you listening, potentially, if this is posted as a podcast, it's auto-sensory meridian response. Thank you. So
Thank
this is
you.
ASMR of migrants being chained and flown out of the country. And this is being enjoyed as ASMR
Passed around the White House,
liked by Elon Musk, etc.
Whooping. Whooping.
Yeah. As you see what I mean?
Very grown up, very mature.
Yeah.
Very statesman-like, aren't they?
So what do you think this week's going to bring?
Oh, God only knows. Except, I would say one thing. Almost everything he's doing, he told us he would do. And people kept saying, well, that won't be allowed. That won't happen. That's too outrageous. But he keep repeating it over and over again, what he's going to do.
My thought, just finally signing off on what I think his overall mission is it really does chime with what you said earlier, Ned. I think he's going to create such an intolerable situation within America for all those people who sit within the sort of designated groups that he doesn't like, you know, all the diversity groups, people of ethnicity.
49% of the country did vote for somebody else.
I think he's going to demonize them. He's going to aggravate them, and he's going to generate hostility in them a little bit, not too dissimilarly to the way in which Israel have with Palestinians. He'll kettle them in, he'll enrage them, and then when they pop, when resistance is felt, and I think he'll keep tightening things until resistance is felt. When that resistance comes, that's the moment you're absolutely right.
Dangerous.
Martial law could land. And I was going to show another clip Nadia sent me through. I've posted it on my stories, which was the Handmaid's Tale, that quote, where she talks about how it's temporary and then it becomes personal. We can't because we'll copyright.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah. Anyway, guys.
Anyway, so thanks. Now, please do take a look around our channel. Please subscribe to the channel. We are here every morning, Monday through to Saturdays, doing news here and bits and pieces from around the world.
Yeah.
We have cookery shows. We have gardening shows. We have great movie and TV reviews.
Wedding, marriage podcasts.
We got a lot.
Yeah, we've got it. Okay, guys. And for all of the regulars, thanks for all your comments. Keep talking to each other. We love the conversation. Obviously, we're getting through quite a bit of news on these ones. It's less kind of interactive than coffee moaning, but keep the chat going between yourselves. Keep the comments coming in afterwards. And if you're a Trump fan, if you stay kind, please share your thoughts, because we're well up for hearing what's going on in the minds of Trump fans and Trump supporters.
And also those that aren't.
Yeah,
What's it
absolutely. Like? What's it like? Yeah. All right, guys.